Hello, I'm Sherry. Thank you for coming to spend some time with me. I'm a maker creator living in Devon in the southwest of the UK. So how are you? We're in difficult days again. Having lived through, all of us together, over 2 years of COVID restrictions, which has made the passing of time so unusual. I was talking to a lady in a shop a couple of days ago, telling her about something I'd bought there, and I said last year, and I thought, well, it couldn't have been last year. It was the year before that, and it was actually the year before that. I think the passing of time has felt different. And then just as the world sort of was slowly emerging from COVID, I still find it difficult to hear the words war in Europe. I'm sure you're the same, and you're struggling with the images that you're seeing coming out of Ukraine and what people are dealing with. It's really hard, and I think the immediacy of communication now means that it may be happening 1,500 miles away, but it could be happening in the next town. It feels very immediate and it hurts, it's awful. So I think you have to find ways to keep yourself calm. So being a maker, I just keep my hands busy, and I find that even of an evening, I'll be sitting there perhaps watching something, and I'll be making something as well. So if you've followed me before, I've seen my podcast before, you'll know that I've been doing some slow stitching this year. So I've always done stitching. Slow stitching is essentially just stitches on fabrics, and it can be anything. It can be embroidery, it can be just stitches on fabric and you don't know what you're going to do. It can be anything. And the reason this year I wanted to set myself that kind of target of stitching every evening, because otherwise I've got so many things on the go that it will come to an evening and I think at the end of the week, and I think, well, I haven't done that. So I've been doing slow stitching, and I've shown you what I did in January, but which was very much inspired by the snowdrops. So it was greens. And the little composition that I did is going to go on the wall, and I thought I would really like something practical every month as well. So using the fabrics that I used in January, I decided to piece together lots of the fabrics that I had to make a small project bag. Not even a project bag, just a small drawstring bag. That this actually gets used in my slow stitching, which I'll show you in a minute. And all I've done is piece together all the bits of my favourite fabrics that I used for my slow stitching, and I did this last weekend. I just stitched them all together, which was lovely. Sometimes by machine and sometimes by hand. And I think creating something I just get a sense of, I don't know, what is it? Endorphins. I don't know what it is. It just makes you feel a bit better about life. So I've been doing that. And please do share if you've been doing your slow stitching as well. I know lots of you have, and it's been so lovely. Tag me on selvage.chronicles so I can see what you're doing, because that's so nice. And again, I think it's so lovely you're stitching on your own in your own front room, but everybody's stitching together, which I think is lovely. The other thing I've been doing is, so I then said for February, if you're one of our lovely patrons, you'd have seen me showing you all my fabric that I got together for February, which was blues, and I decided to use, you get that crispness of sky in a February, and frost, so I thought we're going to go blues with touches of black and white. And then all this happened, and I just thought I need a bit of colour. So that's on hold. The blue one will happen, but I've actually gone with, so I slightly coloured a piece of background fabric so that it wasn't completely plain. And then I've gone with pink and yellow, which is not really even necessarily colours that I would normally have around me, but I just felt that need for some colour and some joy really in that. So I began slow stitching. Now I've been very much inspired by people like Claire Wellesley-Smith and Ariane Zershit, whose embroidery and whose stitching I could watch for hours, honestly. But this piece that I'm doing is much more, my first one was very neat and it was all applique, and I think it was, my head was in a very neat place after Christmas, where you know where you do that, a bit of a clean up after Christmas. This one is all over the place in comparison, and I think that's fine. So I'm just cutting bits up, adding them on, seeing where the stitches go as I go along, and I think that's lovely. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I've got lots more bits and pieces I'm doing. I've been working a row on my granny stripe blanket, trying to do a row every day, and I've got some knitting on the go as well, just to keep myself calm. What do you do? How do you keep yourself soothed in these troubled times? So moving forward, quite a long way forward, and I do apologise for that, I'd like to talk to you about our 2022 Christmas yarn advent calendar. First of all, I'd like to just say I've already had a group of animals in here this morning. I've had Arthur the blackbird, Freddie the robin, and Copperfield the rabbit have all been in asking why they're not the focus of this year's advent calendar, and we've had a long discussion and they've gone away quite soothed, because I'll explain to you how they're going to make an appearance. But it's been chaotic in here today. This year's advent calendar is something different. It's called Joyeux Noël, which means Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas in French. This year we're going to whisk you away to the sleepy towns and villages of Provence in south of France, and to the rooftops and colour of Paris. It's all going to be seen through the eyes of a young girl called Chloe, and it's a tale that has been I've wanted to tell for a long time. I used to spend a lot of time in France, down in the south, when I was a young girl. I used to spend summers down there and school holiday breaks. So I know France really quite well, and my imagination was always working. And yeah, this is a story that I hope you'll enjoy. So what is the Advent? It is, you're going to get, what we're offering this year is very slightly different. We're offering 24 20-gram minis. So you would have a choice of either our sock base, which is, if you've had our advent calendars in the past, that's what you would have had, or double knit, or sparkly stellina. And each one of them comes individually wrapped, so they will be individually wrapped in tissue paper, and then they will go into a little fabric pouch that I make, and in that fabric pouch will be your mini and a little narrative. So every day you'll open a different part of a story, and each little bag is numbered 1 to 24. Quick note on the packaging: our tissue paper, we really try hard with our packaging to be as eco-friendly as we can, and we've just about got it, so everything is either fully recyclable or compostable. So our tissue paper that we have printed for us is soy-based inks and is fully recycled and recyclable. The boxes that it will come in, which you'll probably keep anyway, but they'll be recyclable. And the sellotape, if it looks like we use sellotape in our packaging sometimes, it is sellotape, but it's plastic free. So yeah, so we try really hard to make sure that we make as low an impact as possible. So the colourways will reflect Chloe's surroundings, really. So you'll have the gentler colours of Provence down in South France, moving to the vibrant colours of Paris. It's set in 1899. This was a time of great excitement and colour in Paris. You had the Exposition, you had the Moulin Rouge was nearly opened, the Eiffel Tower, the Tour Eiffel, that had been completed. The metro was due to open in 1900, and it was La Belle Époque. It was a time of kind of sustained peace and excitement, really. And the colourways will be always a surprise, but you can expect some deep reds there, some dark blues, some bottle greens, still muted colourways alongside the softer colours from Provence. So we're excited about it. It's a lovely mix of colours, and I hope you're excited for the theme this year. We're also very excited that a good friend of mine, Emma, who is Eldonwood Crafts, who, if you're aware of Emma, she makes beautiful project bags and DPN cozies, and she is making us a little something for the Advent, which we're very excited about. So if you're a fan of Emma, you will love. She showed me today the fabric that's going in, and it'll be beautiful. So in the box you will get your 24 minis on the base of your choice. You will also have the option to add on a sock set, which is a 100 gram skein, 20 gram mini for your Christmas Eve cast on, which was a tradition started by Danny of Little Bobbins, who started the Christmas Eve cast on. So all around the world people are casting on a pair of socks on Christmas Eve. You will also have the option to add on, whichever base you choose, a sock set and a bag. There are some bags going up as well. So the way we're working, it's going up for sale, have I said? It's going up for sale on Saturday, the 5th of March at 8 p.m. GMT, and it's going to be a deposit only listing. So you will pay a deposit, which will secure your Advent. And then in July, at the beginning of July, the final payment will be due, plus the postage. Now the postage will be international tracked and signed for all overseas orders, and for the UK it will be signed for. And the reason we send it like that is because international tracked and signed gives you, and next day signed for, gives you full compensation for your packages. Should the worst happen, and it's never happened, but should the worst happen and your parcel were to be damaged or go missing, then you have full compensation. The aim is that it's going to be shipping late September, beginning of October, so that if you are overseas, it's giving you plenty of time to get to you. So I hope that all makes sense to you. I know that was a lot of information, but yes, if you've got any questions, you can ask me a question below, or on Instagram, or pop me an email, or put all the links underneath below. So there are a few yarns in the shop as well. So just to give you a bit of background on this, Christopher and I, so Christopher is my son who dyes the yarns alongside me and does the artwork as well. That's not me, that's always Christopher. Now again, it feels like last summer. It wasn't. It would have been probably 2 summers ago, pre-lockdown anyway. We had a lovely day where we were in our favourite part of woodland, a little glade, and in that glade on this particular day, all of the seeds were being blown around, and it was just magical. And we were sitting there saying how you can understand how all these stories about fairies living in glades. Last year we went to on a visit to London to the Natural History Museum, where we went to the Wildlife Photographer of the Year award, and there was a painting there. It was a photograph of an ibex, which we were really taken with, which we now have hanging in our lounge. And a combination of all these things are what triggered off the colourways that have gone in the shop lately, which we are trying to keep stocked. So rather than having quite so many colourways, we're having fewer colourways, but we're keeping them stocked up in the shop for you. And Here Steps the Ibex was one of the colourways, very much inspired. There was a lovely poem that Christopher wrote, yes, he writes poetry too, about the magical ibex in the woodland. And Fairies of the Forest was another colourway that we did. And last week's colourway was the Heather Fairy. And there are also a few minis that we've put back in the shop as well. Oh, last thing, what I've been reading. So I find again that my reading, what I want to read, changes very much based on my mood. And so I'm just reaching for comfort reads at the moment. So good old Anne of Green Gables, some nature books. And I always used to read and enjoy Joanna Trollope. They used to be called the Argo Sagas. And we've recently been putting up some new bookshelves and moving all our books around, and I came across all my Joanna Trollope books. and I've been reading one called Friday Nights, which is just what I needed. Just an easy read, page turner, which I've read before, but that's fine. I forget half of it anyway, so that's no problem. So what have you been reading? I'd love to know what you read to soothe you as well, or what you're reading at the moment. Anyway, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed the video, if you could like and subscribe, that would be lovely, because it really helps our channel grow. And hit the little notification bell if you'd like to know when there's another video going up. If you would like a soothing video, our Chronicles series, which we're putting up, which are more vlogs. The last one was called Calm, and they were literally made. I've had so many lovely comments from people saying how much it calmed them. That's exactly why we made it. So yeah, go and watch that if you would like to. So thank you so much for spending time with me. Until next time.